Hey everyone, it's Denise Brown from caringourway.com, and welcome to a soul break. We take a short soul break every month, and we do meet live. If you ever want to join us live, it's the third Thursday of every month at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. And during our time together, we take a break from whatever drains us. And so today we're going to take a break from takers. So a taker is someone in your life who always is taking from you energy, support, ideas, resources, and yet they have very little to share with you. So it's uneven scales. They take without giving. And I think the part about takers that's really hard is they can feel like they suck the life out of you. So you know who they are in your life. Okay. What's really terrible about takers in our life is that we feel awful being taken. And in some situations, we must interact with a taker. It could be that in the workplace, you have a colleague or a manager who's a taker. It could be within your family system. You have a family member who takes without giving back. It could be because of a healthcare professional that you interact with regularly and you need their help and support, but it just feels like it's an uneven balance. The scales are not balanced in a good way. It could be that you have help, but the help always wants more of you. And you think, oh my gosh, I have no more to give. And yet there's always the ask. I used to do a national caregiving conference and I hosted it for 4 years. And I had a very close up interpersonal relationship with a lot of takers. That experience really led me to do a lot of research around what do we do when we're surrounded by takers. What was interesting is there was a taker who would say to me regularly, it never hurts to ask. And I always thought, you know what? It does. When you're already receiving a lot, it hurts your case to keep asking. At some point, you've received enough, and asking for more than that doesn't help anyone. And in fact, solidifies your relationship or your reputation in my head that you are a taker. This happened probably 6 years ago, and I still remember that person always asked for too much. And what that led me to believe was that person was a taker. It's awful to be taken. You have a good, caring, kind heart, and to be taken advantage of never feels good. And again, we do our best to surround ourselves with individuals who are respectful and appreciative and kind, just like we are. And yet it's impossible to always be within those relationships. Takers are all around us and oftentimes are part of our day, which is why we're taking a break from them. We're taking a break from the takers today. And we're doing that by giving to ourselves. Typically, when we take a soul break, I ask you some questions to consider. Today, I'm going to give you statements to consider because in this moment, you are given. When I ask for a question, you have to give me an answer. Instead, I'm going to give you a statement for you to receive. You are given. And here's your first statement to receive from me, and that is, you are appreciated. I picked this image because I thought, wow, how nice to be able to write a note to ourselves that recognizes what we give to the world so we can see that we are appreciated. You are appreciated. You can jot down a note to yourself right now of all the good in your world that you do that deserves to be appreciated. You could make out a list of 3 things right now. that reflect why you deserve to be appreciated. You are appreciated. You can write down right now why. You can be appreciated for your problem-solving skills, for your tenacity, for your ability to navigate difficult relationships like the takers in your life. You are appreciated for your ability to be courageous in the moment. You are appreciated for your ability to advocate for your caree, for yourself, and for others in a similar situation. You speak up and speak out to make a situation better for yourself, for your caree, and for others. We appreciate that about you. We appreciate that you are creative, productive, hardworking, and organized. Even if you think, oh my gosh, she said organized, if she only saw my work space right now or where I'm sitting and what it looks like, it's okay. You can be organized within chaos. You are appreciated. Receive our appreciation. Okay, so here's the next statement I'm giving to you for you to receive. You are ready to receive opportunities. I think a caregiving experience challenges us to keep the faith that life is good for us and will be good for us. We can think sometimes that we might have sacrificed too much. We've given away too much. And it's important for us to just stand with the thought that we are ready to receive opportunities. We are ready. And I think we have a tendency to doubt whether we can during a caregiving experience. So I am going to encourage you to believe that you are ready to receive the opportunity that's right for you right now. You are ready to receive the opportunity that's right for you right now. I like this image because it's open hands, receiving, and it's just a good reminder for us to keep open to possibilities. We can keep open. We don't have to shut down because life is challenging and feels overwhelming. We can still be open to what's possible. And we can believe that we are ready for the right opportunity for the right now. Here is your third statement to receive. You are abundance. I picked this photo obviously because it looks like abundance. I also picked it because there are varieties of abundance. There's a variety of fruit. And I also liked the bold colors. These are fully realized pieces of fruit. Now that sounds odd, but they're not overripe. They're just right. And that's who we can be in our life right now. And because of that, because we are fully realized with what we believe and what we prioritize and how that leads the way in our life, we are abundance. Now, when I was writing this statement that we are abundance, I did check myself a little bit because there are times and there were days, and let's face it, weeks and months, when you might think, I don't have enough. And it's hard to feel abundant when you are lacking. And a caregiving experience can leave us lacking. It's what's so hard about it. We don't have enough. Because we don't have enough, we feel like we are lacking. And We can recognize that's the reality, and we can also imagine that there's more, that abundance has a place in our life, even when life is hard. And I like that fruit reminds us of abundance because fruit is something that's accessible for us. Even if you think, I'm not eating that fruit. When you go to the grocery store, you can look at the fruit, right? You look at the produce section, you think, wow, the colors are so vibrant. It's so pretty. That can be us. We are abundance. Each soul break, we take a moment to write a belief statement, and it can help us to keep focused on what helps us. We have thoughts throughout the day that hurt us, and it's impossible not to have those thoughts. I regularly struggle with those thoughts. And if I have a better thought, I can pivot from a thought that hurts to a thought that helps. But I can't make that pivot if I don't have a thought to pivot to, which is why I like us to create these belief statements. And we can create belief statements about, for instance, our belief around, even though there are takers in our life, we can still choose to be a giver. That our takers in our life are not going to take away from us what makes us abundant. And what makes us abundant is our good heart, our generous spirit, our compassionate perspective. That makes us abundant. And we don't have to give that up to the takers who want to take too much from us. Certainly, we can set boundaries and we can be fully realized, so to speak. We can be fully present in our life and decide no to the takers because I want to say yes to me. When we get frustrated with what the takers can do to us, which is frustrate us and aggravate us, we can instead pivot to no to the taker because I want to give to me. I want to say yes to me. I believe I can say yes to myself on a regular basis. I believe it's important to say no to the takers on a regular basis. I believe I stay healthy when I say yes to what's healthy for me. Those are belief statements we can create. And to help, we can also create belief statements around this idea that we can say no to takers and yes to ourselves when we think about the categories of our life. So, for instance, within the workplace, we can think about a belief statement we can use with a taker. It could be a coworker. Sometimes it's a little easier if the taker isn't a manager. That's a little bit harder to actually figure out, right? I mean, you think. However, if you have a taker who's a manager, you can say, right now, I am doing my best to manage this situation because I'm getting ready for the next opportunity, and my next opportunity will be with givers like me. And maybe that's a powerful belief statement about managing the current situation with a taker. It's for right now. It's not for forever. It's for right now because you're getting ready for the next opportunity, which includes givers just like you. You could create a similar belief statement around family and relationships within the family, where you might have a family member that just takes, oh my gosh, takes. And you can say, you know what? allowed the taking, but I don't have to continue to allow the taking. I believe I can make different decisions going forward in this relationship with my sibling, another family member, whoever it is. I believe in this moment I can make a different decision that respects who I am. And then you could create a belief statement about courage. I believe I have the courage to protect my good heart, so I stay good in my life. That's a good one too. You don't have to create a belief statement about each of these categories. It's just an inspiration for you to think about, where do you feel like the takers want to take over? Like, what category do you feel like, oh, the takers are taking over? And then what's the belief statement that allows you to take it back, to give back to yourself? That's really what we're talking about. Takers don't have to, oh, we're going to go to this next. They don't have to keep what they take from us. They don't have to keep it. We can decide in this moment to take something back that's important to us, like a value or a priority or a dream. You might have a dream, and maybe you've talked about it with a certain set of friends. And in many ways, these friends are great. But when you talk about something that you want to achieve, a dream, they have a tendency to throw cold water on it. They just dash it. Are you sure, Denise? You're kind of old. Are you sure, Denise? I think that ship has passed for you. That has sailed. You think, why am I telling these people this? So you can decide to take that dream back because it's mine and I want it to happen. They took it away. They got me doubting, but I'm not going to doubt anymore. I'm going to believe. I believe my dreams are possible. And I believe that time spent in pursuing my dreams is time well spent. Those are your belief statements around giving and taking. So my last question. So here's a question for you. So we really focused on statements, but I'm going to ask you a question. This is the last piece of our soul break. I'm curious, what will you keep? You might have had situations in the past where you think, boy, I gave up too much in that relationship, in that situation, in that experience. And that's the lesson learned. That's the wisdom. You felt like you gave up too much. Now, going forward, what will you keep? It could be that you felt impatient. So let's just say, actually, this is me. Sometimes I think I gave in to impatience too much. I was impatient about a situation or a timing or a relationship. And so now I think I want to keep patience. I want things to have the time they need to flourish or blossom or grow. So I'm going to keep patience. You might think, you know what? I gave up too much of what I value in that particular job or relationship. So going forward, I want to keep my values so that I act and say in a way that reflects my values, because that gives me peace of mind and that I don't regret what I said and do. So you would keep your values. Maybe it's you keep a certain time of the day for yourself. You keep time in the morning, or you keep time in the evening, or in the middle of the day. You keep it because you know you feel better when you have it. What will you keep? And it's important for us to remember what we want to keep, because then we really give thought to whether or not we want to give it away. Now, for instance, let's say we go back to that example. You have time in the morning that you want to keep, but there could be some circumstances that feel okay about giving that time up. So you want to be flexible about it, but you want to be intentional around the decision to give it up. It's not something that you just don't necessarily respect. If you just give it all away, you're not respecting what it is that you have, which is why we want to be intentional about what we keep, when we keep it, and why we keep it. So what will you keep? I had looked at images of keys, and I picked this one because there's a variety of keys, and it makes me think, you know what? We might have a key for each relationship or thing or idea or dream or goal or diary that we keep. So we might have a variety of keys for what we keep. And I also liked that these keys have personality, especially the keys, obviously, in the middle row. They are decorated, they are colorful. We can be creative about how we keep something. We can also think about how will we communicate about what we keep. We go back to this idea that maybe you keep a certain time of your day just for yourself. You'd want to communicate that. I'm going to take 10 minutes at 5 o'clock every day because that makes me feel better. So I'm going to just step outside for 10 minutes and then I'll come back in and we'll get dinner started. Just let everybody know. We can have lots of keys because we might have lots of things that we want to keep. So let's be intentional about what we keep, when we keep it, and why we keep it. Okay, that's our soul break for today. You are appreciated. You are ready to receive opportunities. You are abundance. What will you keep? Okay, thank you so much for being with me. Thank you for all you do. See you the next month for our soul break. Oh, you know what? But also join us on caringourway.com. We have archives of our soul breaks. You can register to join us for future soul breaks and all the other events and workshops that we have going on throughout the month. We'd love to connect with you. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.